to frame this.
And right now I'm going to go.
Hi, Dr. Kumar. Give me one more minute. We got 3 minutes before we go live. We're live right now on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. And I'm going to go ahead and record this space on Headliner app. And I'm almost there. I just got to get to the link. Okay, I think we are ready to go. Let me double and triple check. Everything's live. Okay, we're set. Good afternoon, Dr. Kumar. Dr. Kumar?
Yes, hi. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Happy hump
Awesome.
day.
Happy Wednesday.
So, you had a good week?
Oh, it's amazing. Oh my God. I'm going to tell you later on what I'm up to right now. It's going to be, it's going to blow your mind, but that's going to be a different conversation.
Wow, I'm scared. So I'm going to go ahead and pin the story that that we got from PubMed, so that we have it as our reference. And
Yeah.
let's talk a little bit about PT141. I know it's peptide. Am I correct?
Yes. Yes. I'm really fascinated with this peptide. So I wanted to kind of share this with folks so that they know exactly what it is and they should start thinking about it, instead of just depending on the little blue pill, for whatever they use the little blue pill for. This is an amazing little medicine that can really make a difference. So whenever you're ready, I'm ready to jump in.
Okay, it's all pinned up on the nest from the article from PubMed.
Yep, I see it.
And we're ready. It is now 1:30.
All right.
We are live on all channels. And again, everybody, welcome. And yeah, this space is being recorded, and it's also will be on our blog. And you have any more further questions, you can DM me or Dr. Kumar. But again, Dr. Kumar, let's go for it. Let's talk about this.
Awesome. Okay. So I came across PT141 when I started my first adventure into sexual medicine, about 4 years ago. So let's figure out what it is. And, I'm going to go through some of the most common questions that people ask me about. So, number one, what is it? So, if people remember just elementary biology, PT141 is a peptide. Now, what is a peptide? Everybody knows what insulin is, right? Insulin is needed to control blood sugar levels. So, insulin is a peptide. It's a short chain amino acid. It's a subcomponent of a protein. So if you split down protein into its individual components, you end up with short chain amino acids, and they're called peptides. Now, there are different sequences of amino acids that result in different peptides, and each peptide has its own unique function. So, when you arrange amino acids in a certain sequence, you end up getting insulin. So, what we found was there is a particular peptide that was created initially to actually to be used for tanning purposes, right? So it's a melanocortin stimulating peptide. So when they started using this on folks to see how much of tanning would occur, because this particular peptide would stimulate melanocytes in the skin to put out more melanin. So instead of sitting, in a tanning booth, you can take this medicine and have tanning throughout the body. But then they found out that this particular peptide was actually enhancing sexual activity among both men and women. Aha, that was something that we had not known. So they switched this whole philosophy of this medicine around. Now it became a medicine to help women with hypoactive sexual disorder and men with erectile dysfunction. And now the side effect of that medicine is the tanning part. So what we thought was a side effect now becomes the main action. And what was meant that medicine for, which was the tanning, now we classify it as a side effect. So, people are familiar with, Viagra, Cialis, the P shot, Gainswave. This is another tool in our tool belt to address patients' sexual dysfunction needs. So, this is a medicine that is currently manufactured by compounding pharmacies. It's also available through a specific company under the brand name called Vyleesi, and it's meant through the FDA for female hypoactive sexual disorder. Now, so how much do we use? This is a medicine that has to be refrigerated. You cannot have it lying around in the sun because you'll denature the protein or the peptide. So once it gets shipped in, it has to be refrigerated, and we have people use it just like insulin, which means about zero point 0.1 to zero point 0.3 cc's, using it in an insulin syringe and injecting it into the skin, with that insulin syringe. Very easy to do. We generally recommend people use it once or twice a week, not more than that, because if you use it more often, you're going to downregulate the receptors and you quote unquote become resistant to it. So you need to take a holiday for the body to kind of resume producing those receptors through which this medicine works. So once or twice a week will change your life. In fact, if there is an article going around online, Susan Summers, and the headline says, Susan Summers has sex 3 times a day before noon, or something like that. Go ahead, look that up.
I remember that one. Hold on, let me
Yeah,
pick it up and pin it up to the nest. That's hilarious. Yes, I remember
yeah,
that one. She
yeah,
did an interview and she was talking about it, and somehow they made a headline. That's the only thing they remember that she said.
yeah, exactly. It's hilarious, but the thing is, there's so much of truth to it, and so it helps both men and women. I mean, even though we talk about female sexual dysfunction, this medicine works across the board. So again, so what are the side effects? You will tan like crazy. Somebody like me who's already brown, I mean, I tan so easily without medicine. Oh my God, it is so obvious. So, so take it for what it's worth. You will tan, depending on how you want to look at it. What are some of the other side effects? Very rarely.
Is that
Um,
why they're so tan? Because according to this article, it's saying Suzanne Summers, 73, says she
yeah,
gets weekly shots so she can have sex twice a day with her hubby. They're both
yeah,
so dark and tan and so like
yeah,
glowing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Hey, it's like the nectar of youth. If you want anything close to it, I don't think there's anything closer than this particular peptide for to get your mojo back, if that's what you're looking for. And I'm telling you, the stories that I hear from my patients is just amazing. The way it has changed the life of these patients. I mean, yes, sex is a good thing, but beyond that, it's that intimacy that comes along with it. It's the connection that develops. It's the relationship that develops. It's overall such a healthy thing that you get over all these fears, all these distractions. Especially coming out of this COVID crap that we are dealing with. So many mental health issues because of this disconnection that we've experienced over the past 2 years. And I think this is an easy. Again, if people have a normal sexual life, obviously you don't need this. But in this day and age, when there are so many distractions that are going on, that is creating havoc in a sexual function, this is a way out. So my recommendation is, just don't jump in all of a sudden and order this stuff online, because you don't know what the hell you're going to get. Go through your doc. Talk to somebody like me who has a special interest in the area of sexual medicine. Could be a urologist, could be anybody. But the thing is, sexual medicine as an entity is not part of the curriculum in medical school or in any residency training program.
That is so crazy that they don't
Yeah,
want to teach the doctors about sexual education, how important it is, how things work. Doesn't it go hand in hand with your hormones, with your everything, your full panel of your blood work? Because really, at the end
yeah,
of the day, you're testing for the person's sexual function.
yeah. The tragedy is, the endocrinologists look at one angle and they don't talk to the urologist. The urologists don't talk to the gynecologist. So each one of them is kind of locked in their own silo. They're not talking to each other. And so the patients are left high and dry. And what's happening here is the sexual dysfunction, um, and the treatment for it. You have to have such a holistic approach. You need to have knowledge about hormones. How does it balance out with, using sound waves, to open up blood vessels? How do you deal with peptides? How do you deal with psychological counseling? How do you deal with supplements that are available? There's so many moving parts to wholesome sexual activity that not any one single specialty is equipped to deal with it. And that's a tragedy. People go to sexual counselors. Yes, they all play a role. But the thing is, people like us who have a special interest kind of pull all those elements together under one umbrella, right? And so again, not a lot of doctors behave or have the knowledge like we do, but I'm sure there's a bunch of people out there, if you look at them carefully, and they're across all specialties. They're gynecologists who do have a special interest in sexual medicine, like I do. There are urologists who do that. I mean, there are family practitioners who do that. So it's across the board. I think it's bound to each person who has this issue to kind of think about it, do your Google search, find out who's dealing with PT141, have a discussion, and take a holistic approach. Just don't go in there and ask for PT141. That won't make any sense. Take a holistic approach. Start from the ground up, see where you are, figure out what the needs are, and then balance things out. Again, our whole series of these talks that we've been doing has been focused on, sexual well-being. And so we'll come out with a lot more information than what we've been able to do over the past few weeks. I promise you, there's a lot more to come.
Oh, the thing is, we also talked about long-term COVID, and now I think Biden is setting up some money for that to study long-term COVID. That
Oh
would be
yeah,
you need to be part of that whole project.
yeah. Hook me up. I don't know what the connections are. I'm just a poor old doc and doing my best in this kind of a vacuum.
I was reading up on that this
Trying to figure
morning,
this
and I
out.
was like, oh my God, Dr. Kumar needs to be part of this. I need to find out more because it's like
Yeah,
you
yeah,
have the data and the information more than these other doctors who just, I'm kind of like, could you just treat them like they're old people that age 30 years because they got
yeah,
COVID?
yeah, yeah. I mean, there's so many things that are coming along that I'm fascinated. Again, I'm finding my niche in this area, which is kind of in no man's land. I'm like the packing material between a bunch of you know, boxes of specialties, and I'm trying to find my way through, kind of trying to be the glue. But it's been a wonderful experience for me to play a role in the lives of so many of these patients. I mean, it's amazing the kind of appreciation that I get from these folks who thought that, their life had ended, that their relationships had ended, they were on the point of divorce, and now there's a new lease of life. They're back together. Their families are intact. Their finances are intact. Nothing's going to hell in a handbasket anymore. So there's so many moving parts to that, and that's what I love about doing what I do. So that's it about PT141. So it's a very simple medicine.
It's funny that we talk about this now because I remember when it first came about, and it was more for a tanning thing. And Dr. Nick Delgado was all about it. He was talking about it at A4M,
Okay.
and they were like all about it. But I never knew it was it was realized it was about sexual health, which makes sense because Nick Delgado is all about sexual health.
Yeah.
So, you know who I'm talking about, Dr. Nick Delgado?
Yes, I do. I do. So we are bearing the fruits of all the labors of all those guys who came before us, right? So we bring it into fruition, and our job is to kind of spread the word. Because I can tell you this, 9 out of the 10 listeners who listen to this, I'll take a bet, have no clue what we're talking about, have no clue about PT141. They don't even know that there is this whole world of medicine that is called peptide therapy, and PT141 is just a small component of that. So it's a really growing and expanding field, and I'm sure that the need for traditional medicine. Again, we absolutely need traditional medicine. Don't get me wrong, but it's such a nice supplement to that. When we think about these other sources of healing, whether it's peptide or sound, there's so many other opportunities out there to allow the human body to heal and function better. And that's the fun part. Me discovering all these new things. It's just amazing, and how much out there exists. And it's all within medical bounds. So it's not something woo woo. All you have to do is ask the right question in PubMed, and you will get your answer. So it's something that is part of medicine, but again, it's like the hidden side of medicine that's not obvious to most doctors, because the thing is, we are so busy, just dealing with the day-to-day mundane stuff, about patient care and administration and billing and collections, with all those headaches. So people are kind of burnt out by the end of the day, that we don't have the energy to kind of dig in and see what else is new out there. But somehow God has given me the wisdom to ask some weird questions and get some weird answers. And here we are, finding something that really works and makes a difference in patients' lives. So that's the fun part.
That's the key, making a difference in someone's lives. Could you imagine, like being young and having difficulty in your sexual health? That's devastating,
Yeah.
And even if you're older, a lot of time people, I knew someone that says, at his age. I'm like, what does that mean by at his age?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, listen, I had a patient yesterday. I'll just tell you a very brief story. This poor guy, is 45 years old, has all the money in the world. Okay. His testosterone is near zero. His primary care doc tells him that because he has a family history of heart disease, he doesn't want him to be placed on testosterone. Can you imagine? Can you imagine? Not even at the therapeutic range. He wants him to be hypogonadic. Can you believe this? I mean, it just shocked me and stunned me. And this is a person who has concentrated medicine. He can go anywhere on the planet for his medical care. And he comes to me just wiped out. Says, Kumar, you are my last hope. And I said, what the hell? You've been misled with so much of bullshit information. I mean, can you imagine? Can you imagine at the age of 45 to be nearly hypogonadic, nearly testosterone level close to zero because of all the other issues that he's dealing with? And his doc doesn't, tells him that he's going to have some major issues if he's placed on testosterone. Can you imagine the misinformation that there is? And this is the kind of bullshit that I have to deal with. among my own colleagues. They're so misinformed. So and the best part is they think that they're doing the patients a service. That's the worst part. When you're doing something so deadly, so wrong, and you believe that what you're doing is right. I mean, there's nothing more criminal than that. I mean, I hate to use these harsh words, but it really touched me yesterday when I saw this guy, is at the point of nearly giving up everything and just moving on. Well, his mental health issues are unbelievable. So I'm on my way to kind of
That's
get
so
it,
sad.
getting him back on track, getting him back on track.
Well, thank goodness he found you.
Thank God. Yeah.
There's an A4M conference that's coming up.
Yes. Yes. And I know Radfest is coming up too.
Okay, I want to. So when Neil comes and see you,
Okay.
we'll talk about that
Yeah,
offline.
yeah.
But I'd love for you to talk at Radfest about NAD and some of the protocol for long haulers, because really, the conversation is going to be how old, what is the DNA methylation age of this patient right now after getting COVID?
Yeah.
I'm kind of curious. No one's talking about, have we measured them as far as how old they are in their insides?
We need to
Just
do that across the board as a study, Tanya. I mean, every long
Exactly.
hauler.
I know. It's a huge correlation that no one's talking about, trying to figure out, like they're kind of like mentioning it, but they don't want to say, oh, we don't want to talk about aging. Well, if you look at a person with all these side effects, if you want to call it, from long-term COVID, long haulers, it's all age related. If you really
Yep.
think about it, all the
Yep.
brain fog, the shakes, the neural, the diabetes. I mean, come on. I mean, every single one of them that I've met that had like not feeling too well, great or whatever, I was like, oh, did you check to see if you got diabetes?
Yeah.
They
Hey,
all have got
beyond that,
diabetes.
hey, listen, even beyond that, just the most common thing that I'm seeing is actually ED. ED in
Oh
men,
yes, that's a
low
huge
testosterone levels.
conversation right now. It's
Yeah.
the blood flow and the ED.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether it's central issue or a peripheral issue, it's something that we need to figure out, because what I've used to treat ED post COVID, long COVID, is NAD, not PT141, not Viagra. It's freaking NAD. One shot of NAD will fix that damn thing, because it was an energy leak. Simple as that. 41-year-old post COVID develops ED, boom, treat him with one shot of NAD, he's back in action. That's it. Can you imagine if he had not
The way
found
you
it?
describe, he's back in action.
Yeah, he's back in
Yeah, that's
action.
what NAD does. I can't wait to get mine from you. NAD does get you back in action. I'll tell you that. It
Back
makes me
in
feel like
action.
I'm back in action. I
Yeah.
think it's something that I hope more people talk about, because, or at least go get find a good doctor and find out, to ask more questions about what it could do for you, because I feel like NAD helps a lot with especially neural issues, and look at all these addiction, technology addiction. Look at all the different addiction that's happening right now today.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. You have no idea. I have two patients lined up today, this afternoon, as soon as I'm done here, with opiate addiction. It's all due to the pandemic, and because these guys were kind of closeted for so many months, that they kind of stumbled onto into addiction, because that was their only way out to overcome their boredom or whatever. So I have two of them lined up this afternoon, unfortunately. So
See,
that is becoming an
I'm
epidemic.
addicted. I'm addicted to technology. I'm addicted to my Twitter Spaces, but
But
that's
this
why
is
I
a good
talk about,
thing.
like, well, it's a good thing, but it's a bad thing. You can't be like, and I can feel it too. Like today, I have 4 live streams, but at the end of the night tonight, I'm going to be so drained, because it does. I feel like touching technology all day long really sucks your energy out.
Oh, absolutely. But you're doing a service, Tanya. I mean, we appreciate you so much. I'm telling you. I don't know, because this is something that's not at my core. I'm happy to share my knowledge. Like, I'm the messenger, but you gave me the opportunity, and the gateway to reach out to so many people across the world. That is something that I always recognize. What you're capable of doing, and that's something that I do appreciate.
Oh, wait till you see your first article I wrote. I'm waiting for my designer to send me the link so you can see it, because I'm doing I'm just taking all of our podcasts that we've done in the past, so I'm just taking
Okay.
one at a time. So the first one, I finally finished it. I made 5 videos out of it, in the
Okay.
30 minutes. So I'm going to start sharing it out. And then inside the video, that's why it's taking so long, is inside the story, each sentence I have it so that you're supposed to tweet out. You tweet about
Wow.
it and comes back to the website. So it's just not connecting right. So I'm waiting for the designer to fix it. So until then, hopefully get it done by today. But that's what I'm doing right now. It's exciting to like disseminate your information and listening to you explaining how simple, like the way you explain it was so like real life, down to earth, understanding. Because when you go to a doctor, sometimes when they explain it to you, you're like, huh? But you explained it very. So when you listen to the first one, actually we talked about NAD and long-term COVID. I think that's the one I
Yeah.
did it. So that was really good, by the way.
Awesome. All right. I think I can wind up now.
Okay.
Unless
Yep. So
anybody
why
has
don't you
any
tell us
questions?
how to get a hold of you? So we'll have this as the closing remark.
Cool. My website is lifewellmd.com. Folks can always reach me through simple text message, and the phone number US is 772-332-9975. I'd be happy to respond, individual questions or any kind of information. Or if somebody has a question that they want me to speak on, go ahead, make some suggestions. I'll pick the topic, and because I'm here to help you guys understand something that you're not able to get the right information. I'll kind of break it down, whatever that is, make it simple so we can all share. All righty. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar.
Have
Thank
a
you, Brent, for being
wonderful week.
here. Bye, everybody. I'll be back later for my social chats, healthy lifestyle with Lynn, and we'll have Balance for Life Florida on with Terry Michaels. Should be talking about their plant-based retreat that they host for people. So again, I'll be back at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on social chats, Twitter Spaces. And again, everybody have a great day.